Hi. This show and tell is about ingesting optical discs like CDs or DVDs using a tool called dvdisaster. dvdisaster was actually designed to make optical discs contain the data more robust, but actually it's become a very valuable tool for simply reading out any kind of optical carriers, CDs, DVDs, and according to documentation, even Blu-ray. We've been using this tool in the archive in Vienna in the Mediathek for quite a while now, and I'm also very happy for my own collections with it. How to install dvdisaster? On a Linux system, very easy. I could search it in the software center, just go and say dvdisaster, and then I can click install. I prefer doing it on the command line because for me it's just faster and easier. That was it. So this is how you install programs on a Linux system when they're in the repositories. So it says the new package will be installed, dvdisaster is the name of the package, and it's 400 kilobytes to download, and it says, well, but you will have 1.7 megabytes of disk space used then. I think this is quite okay. So dvdisaster is quite an old program, which is actually good because the use case for optical carriers is already old, and it was solved many years ago. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Therefore, I say I'll just open dvdisaster. Here it is. The interface is quite clean and straightforward. I have an optical disc here. It's a burned DVD. I have an USB optical drive attached to a notebook standing there. I'll just put the CD in there, and meanwhile I'll give it a path and file name where to store the ISO image that is extracted. Why is it called ISO? Because the data written on optical discs, if file data is being stored, is called ISO 9660. And therefore, an image of an optical disc, when it contains data, we usually call it ISO. So I have a folder on my desktop, optical, I'll just call it medium.iso. And then I press read. Oh. Now you see something that I actually wanted to show you the next time is I already started reading this image before to test if everything works fine. And what you can see now is that dvdisaster saw the image file, understood that it was actually the image file of this particular optical carrier, and said, hey, you know what? I already read some of the blocks. And it marks them blue here and says, I'm not going to touch them this time because they already were there. The green blocks, it's now, you see, it's drawing a spiral. This is the way the data is stored on these disks, like on a record. And each one of these blocks is being read, and when it's green, it's good. When it's blue, it was already there from a previous run. And when there is a read error or something else, you will get a red block. Hopefully everything is green. On the left side, you see the speed of the drive for reading it. You'll just see a linear climb, which means that there is a smooth read, there is no read errors, there is no need to slow down and pause and try again. So having an optical carrier that is in good shape usually gives you smooth linear speed all to the end. We could sit here now and wait for this DVD to be ripped. Once it's done, it's actually done. You have the ISO file and you can just use it. I'll show you how you could interrupt at any time. I just said abort. It stops. I don't know if you can hear the drive. It's spinning down, letting the disk go. And it'll just stop right where it left off. I can take the disk I could even put the disk in a completely different drive on a completely different computer if you have the started ISO file and the disk, and you tell dvdisaster, please write it to this file. It'll understand that it belongs to this disk. And if I press read again, it'll check the image, it'll check the disk, it'll figure out that they belong together, and you can jigsaw puzzle problematic disks. Oh, wasn't ready reading, needs to spin up. There we go. It understood that it already started something, and it'll continue to read. This is actually a very comfortable way for reading out any data on optical disks. While it's reading the disk in the background, I will show you reading patterns from not so smooth cases. What you see here, for instance, is a very problematic read. So the light green dots means sectors that were read during this run, and the dark green ones were already present, so it already had the ISO finished and it tried to read it again. Like the blue ones, it just says I'm not going to read them again because I already have them. And by having these multiple runs on different drives even, it often is so that some block errors can be corrected. Here you see dark green was read in the first run, light green was filled in the second run, and stuff that still remains red is still problematic. Here you see a CD read, smooth read, all straight. Then at the end it encountered two broken blocks or bad blocks. It slowed down, tried to read, said, 2 blocks, couldn't manage. So I tried it again on a different drive, and it tried again. This one red block before, so you see here, broken block. It said, oh, on this drive I could fit it in, and now I have all the data up until the very last block. And dvdisaster understands this and tells me, hey, there's 2 sectors missing at the end of the disk. This is okay if the DC was written in track at once mode. And actually, I made that disk back then, and I'm pretty sure I made it in track at once. So it's really nice that dvdisaster is even able to understand the structure of optical disks and tell you if this is actually okay or what it means, what you see. What else do we have here? There's regular one. Here you see the disk could be red. It's all green. Yet there's no nice up and down for a dual layer. This is a dual layer DVD, so it speeds up until the first layer and then it goes down with details. But you see this noisy thing, so the drive was like slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, speeding up. So the disk was actually tricky to read, but it worked. Here's another clean read, everything's green, but you can see at the beginning it was okay, but then things actually got worse. Here is a perfect DVD read, like here going up, almost finishing, going down. This is a dual layer DVD where down here you see the file sizes to be expected. So here for a DVD, 4.7 gigabyte, dual layer DVD, 7+ gigabytes. This was it for, for dvdisaster. If there's any comments or questions on this, feel free to let me know. Have fun.